sounds so underproduced. I can't believe it. I stand by the tune and the lyrics and stuff. It was still a very nice song, but you can really hear the inexperience of us as recording artists. You know, the whole thing was done on borrowed equipment at the time. We didn't. In fact, the only things that were owned were Phil's drums. They were his. But it was on the bass guitar. I used an old Heyman bass, it was called, and I remember the pickup. It didn't have any screws in the pickup, so if I leant forward, the magnets used to suck themselves onto the string. So the song is punctuated ever so often with a whoop.
You've got, I think, in this year of 87, a very distinctive sound. Did it take long to come up with what I see as a broadcaster and a disc jockey when I play your records as a very distinctive sound?
Well, thanks. Yes, it's taken the 7 years of the band, really. Now, it seems like a long time, but in fact, it's only 8 albums, and that's only 8 albums worth of experience. Because if we all came up to London as sort of youngsters and we had no experience, well, making 8 records isn't the greatest experience there is. I mean, we have done other things in the meantime, but as the band and working together, the last album, World Machine, and the new album, Running in the Family, are the only ones that we've actually produced ourselves. So it's... I don't know. I'm glad it's that we do have a distinctive sound. I think that's probably the most important thing for any artist. But it has taken sort of 7 years to get there.
Let's, just for the uninitiated, have a little look technically at this machine you have here. In case you don't know, a bass guitar has 4 strings. What are they tuned to, Mark? I'm going to put you on the spot now.
Let me just say, actually, it doesn't necessarily have to have 4 strings. There are 5-string basses de rigueur at the moment, and you can have the string goes down to, if this is that's my E string, and that's the lowest. Very often now, you get it taken down to B, which is right down there. So this is where the lowest bass string will be now, and I'm playing, of course, well, a tune thing. Let me think. I'm rapidly trying to... Oh, there we go. Anyway, so that's what happens when you take it right down. It's very low. What was the question again?
I'll ask you another one. You tend to use chords a lot on a bass guitar, which is a slightly modern invention. I mean, my concept of bass players back in the 60s was that it was sort of 1 or 2 notes per bar, held, very pizzicato style. In fact, there were some real ham-fisted bass players in the pop groups in the 60s. Hope they're not listening, any of them. They know who they were.
But there were some great ones, too. Look at Jack Bruce. I mean, like...
Oh, superb.
Chords and stuff. I mean... Once again, it's not something that I started, and certainly I don't know who does, who has started it. Jack Bruce used to use chords, I'm sure. It's very much a jazzy thing, but because you only have 4 strings, it's very nice to give a harmonic accompaniment with yourself. As I said before, if this is the E string, I can perhaps give an like that and make like an E major, so that you can start making nice little tunes. That sort of thing, you can just move around.
Goes without saying that you have a great love for the instrument. How strong do you think the instrument could be as a solo toy? Because, I mean, if one thinks ahead, perhaps that you might sit down in 10 years' time and write a sort of bass guitar, I don't know, concerto
or something
like that. Do you know what I mean?
I doubt this very much, but particularly with me,
But do you think the instrument would stand for that? Because it seems to be that expertise and technology get together and enhance it.
Right. Well, I mean, like, it's an instrument, and its limitations are only those of the person playing it or using it or something, I think that if it's come on a little more in the 80s, and particularly with slap and stuff, then, I mean, there's obviously youngsters out there right now that are going to be able to take it much, much further than I ever could, You've
never played an electric string bass, I gather. Not an electric string bass, a double bass.
No, I haven't. No, I've never tried an acoustic bass, or a fretless bass, come to that. There are many fine players like that. You have Jaco Pastorius and Alphonso Johnson. Pino Palladino is very good. He plays with Paul Young. And it's a very different sounding bass, but I use very light strings, so for sort of bending, I can just do that by bending the strings, And a fretted bass is better for slap, so So I prefer doing that sort of thing.
We could have you doing this for hours. What I'd like to do now is play It's Over from the new album Running in the Family. Any reflections on this as a song?
This is, yes, it's my favourite song. I think it's the best song that the band's written yet. Boone wrote the lyrics for this, and they're sort of very heartfelt. It's a real tearjerker, this one.
I won't be here when you come home. I'm sorry if you don't understand. Forgive me if you can't.